2, 1.
Are we live?
Just wait, please, a couple of seconds. Yeah. So, what's up, everyone? Welcome to New Year's first platform development update. I'm Marina, Communications Officer at DCG, and today I'm hosting this event instead of Balazs. So we're having 5 teams as usual, speaking for around 45 minutes or an hour. And so pour yourself a warm drink, like and share this stream, and feel free to share your questions and feelings in a chat on your right. And let's get started.
Yes, I'll start quickly by saying one thing about this sprint that's a little bit different than usual is that it was during a lot of holidays. So if you see a little bit less progress than usual, it is because, well, there was the new year, and, a lot of our team is also from Russia, and Russian Christmas is the first week of January. So we had a lot of people not around for the entire sprint. So with that, without further ado, I'll pass it on to Lucas, who will give updates from TenderDash. But I need to start the slideshow. Is that working?
Yes.
You guys see the slideshow now? Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
So hi, my name is Łukasz, and I'm member of the TenderDash team. So we're at a stabilization phase where we are fixing issues that we find. We are testing and improving the code. We did multiple pull requests and multiple bigger and smaller fixes, like updated dependencies, some refactoring of the code that didn't work in an optimal way or was prone to errors. We added some verification of consensus parameters between nodes and did some deadlock detection logic into our Docker images. At the beginning of New Year, GitHub changed their approach to the builders, to the images they use in their workflows. Right now, they default to Ubuntu 22.04. So it broke some of our tests that it will be adapted in the future version, but we had to also go back to previous Ubuntu 20.04 for these workflows, and we did some test improvements. So basically, it's a phase where we stabilize the solution. One big task that we have on our plate, and we postponed it previously, but we resumed.
Hello?
Yeah, so what's left? So basically the stabilization, it's not only the same block execution, but in general, it is stabilization. And we are, from the big topics, we have the vote extensions mechanism that should be used in withdrawal transactions, and we might need some adjustments there in sync with the rest of the platform team. So that this is more coordination task and more topic to work together with other members of the platform team. Not too much to do in TenderDash, I think, but basically that's, besides these 2 topics, we are good for the testing of TenderDash. So we can release whenever it's needed the testing version. And that's it on TenderDAsh side.
Thanks, Lucas. I'll continue with GroveDB. So in GroveDB, while we thought we were done, there's always a few bugs here and there that are creeping up. We had released version 23, and version 23 of Platform, worked for quite some time, but then it crashed. And one of the reasons it crashed was there were two actually reasons it was crashing. One of the first reasons was we cache contracts in RS Drive. And basically what happens is the contracts have a cost when you load them from disk. And we cache the cost that it loads from disk, and we expect the loaded cost to always be the same no matter what at any time that you load it. Now, this was not working for two reasons. The first is underlying in GroveDB, there is another cache that makes querying sometimes less expensive. And this was offsetting the cost. Sometimes it was less expensive than other times. So now we added a feature to making that caching optional, which is actually the second item here. And then afterwards, we realized that there was another issue where requesting loaded bytes could be non-deterministic. So we had to fix that, and we made it deterministic. So then the issues found from v23 were resolved. We're still working on better path query merge. This has actually been a much harder task than anticipated. We've kind of broken down where we're currently at. So what is a better path query merge? It's when you ask multiple queries at the same time. For example, an identity of yours could have a key, and it also has and your identity has a balance. And you say, hello, I'd like to get my balance and my key, and I want it in one request instead of multiple requests. So you can take multiple queries, right, and merge them in and then send them out. And that's basically the path query merging. To do that, though, we had to not only handle like simple cases that I said earlier, but handle pretty hard cases. In GroveDB, there's something called conditional subqueries, whereas depending on the element that you have from a list, you'll enter a different type of subquery. And to support that was actually very, very hard, but it's done now. So I won't go too much into details, but it's a very cool feature, and we're almost done with it. The only last item is something that Wisdom is working on called proof of mixed levels. I guess I'll say what that is. Or Wisdom, do you wanna take that?
Sure. So before, when you have a proof path, we only return that the result set only contains items at the leaf of that path. So the entire path, we don't return items from the intermediate nodes, but it's only the leaf node that will return items in the result set. So we need to be able to return from intermediate nodes because of identity v2. So we are currently working on getting that working. So now you could potentially return items from an intermediate node in the result set and still return items from the leaf node in the result set. So it's more expressive in terms of like items to return.
Yeah, it's a very cool feature that nobody here probably understands. But in the long run, the fact that we have this is really going to be really good for basically other features that we can build from it. So,
yeah, remember this document what you read initially regarding the hierarchical authenticated data structures. And the thing what we didn't start to do is like index intersection for the documents. That's probably now will be easy to implement is this feature. It's amazing. Good job, guys.
I'm not sure, but I'll think about that one. So, when this is done, we shouldn't have anything left. So last week we were working on the better path query merge, right? And we still, last sprint review, we still haven't finished. There's been many iterations, but we're getting towards the end of that. And then the other two items just basically entered. We don't expect anything else, but there could be more. Yeah, so with that, I'll hand it over to Ivan. Ivan, you take this for protocol?
Yeah, sure. So this sprint, we worked multiple things, identity v2, create withdrawals and other tasks. So Javid, could you please tell us about the current progress?
Yay! Hello, everyone. Happy New Year, everyone. Regarding withdrawals, so we had a set of reviews fixes this sprint, this small short sprint after the holidays. And code-wise, I believe we fixed everything. Right now, I'm busy setting up the CI for this particular PR, because we're extensively using features of Rust in this PR. And I'm doing this as we speak right now. So this is the only part left. Yeah, so that's the progress as of now. Back to you, Ivan.
Actually,
cool.
To me.
Yeah, to Sam.
Yeah, actually, to Sam. Sorry.
Looking forward to see it working, Javid. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Javid. So one big item that we've been working on this sprint is Identity v2, and Identity v2 has been being worked on for some time, but it's kind of stalled by getting the path query merging done in GroveDB. So since we were kind of blocked there, well, I turned my attention basically to some trees and worked on the stuff that needed to happen afterwards. So basically the sum tree integration and the total credit balance verification. How this works basically is anytime something enters the system, it gets put into the place where it's supposed to go. For example, if you add a new identity with a balance, not only do you push to the identity balance, but you also push to the total amount of money basically in platform. And the total amount between all identities and all pools is always equal to the total amount in the other side. So it's like kind of, well, it's a verification that there's no inflationary bugs at any point. Now, a lot of the calls there have been written. Right now, where I'm at is I had to write a really big test to verify this, but it's towards the end basically. The test is run through 1,000 blocks, add tons of identities, add tons of documents, and then verify that the sum trees are all working. So I'm hoping that I can finish this tomorrow. I was trying to finish for today, but didn't manage. But yeah, it should be done soon. Some trees were basically one of the last items, and we'll see it on the what's left that it was kind of almost done. So yes, and it's also all the stuff for what we needed for the block reward has also been written. So all those calls. We also added in Identity v2 all the drive batch operations. So the drive batch operations are, well, the way batch operations work in Drive are that you basically have, you can mix different drive operations together, but to do that, they have to be in a drive operation. Not making much sense today. Been working all day. But actually, why don't you take it, Ivan? Save me from myself. I'm tired.
Yeah, sure. So I think you pretty covered Identity v2 and regarding the efficient data serialization. We already started this process, but we realized that the implementation, then we realized that it's better to accomplish DPP, Rust DPP porting and integration. And it's not much left to do. So it's kind of partially done and we're waiting for DPP and then we'll accomplish it. Regarding the next few items, Kostya, could you help me, please?
Yeah, sure. So the first item, we updated core up to the latest version, 18.2. The biggest change in core that affected us was change in JSON RPC API. That's why we spent some time on integrating this. Don't switch to validated quorum, which will be removed soon. I guess it's pretty clear. It should be pretty clear from the title. So we don't want to switch to the quorum, which will be removed soon because we will need it for some time.
Yeah, I mean, I would add that we're switching quorums as part of validated set rotation. So like every 15 platform blocks, we probably change this number later. We're changing the core LMQ quorums. Basically, yeah, we don't want to switch the quorum, which will die soon.
Yeah, which will die before this limit. Yeah, right. Thank you, Aaron. And the next one, ABCI context logger. This, I would say this is kind of refactoring. We would like to have pretty simple and beautified logs because we are at the stage when this thing is pretty much important because we will have a lot of investigations, I guess, in case if everything goes wrong. Yeah, so this part is really important as well. Yeah, and I guess that's it from my side.
Yeah, thank you, Kostya. So did this context log? No, it's not done yet. Thanks. Go back, please.
Go back.
Yeah, thanks. So the context logger means that like in our ABCI application in Drive, we have multiple sections, like for example, the block begin, block end, when we process basically execute the state transition, and we have like some data around it. For example, the ID of the state transition, or the type of the state transition, or block height, block time, and different information about the current context of the ABCI, the step in the ABCI process. And this new logic will help us to keep this context for the logger as well. So we will see not just the lines, the messages, like something done, but also all the additional information would help us to, as Costa said, for debugging, for troubleshooting.
Yeah, in a few words, it would be much easier to say what happened and when happened when you see logs.
Yeah. So the last one, Sam already talked about it as part of the GrowthDB report. This the non-deterministic load bytes and the Merck tree cache. So basically, at some point, the testnet platform chain help, and we found that the processing fees are different on different machines, and then we realized that one of them just were restarted, and eventually we realized that the source of non-determinism in the growth and fix them. Yeah, this was pretty interesting journey. I remember that the actual place of the non-determinism Sam figured out by just dividing one number to another one. I was impressed. It was probably happening when you know.
It was because there was this big number, very, very big number, and we divided it by 400, and then it was 143, and I knew that 143 was the size of a node under certain circumstances in GrowthDB. And that basically, I mean, you can easily know what's going on after that. Actually, there's something else.
It illustrates what's happening when you know your code very well, right?
It's like one of those things like, this is not going to take that long. Like, you know, you don't want something to take 2 weeks. I think we solved that in like 2 days, but it was still pretty intense.
Yep.
So there was actually another thing that I completely forgot to write down. We now actually support multiple document inserts in a single batch. And that was a feature requested by Javid, I think, for withdrawals. So I coded that up. I mean, it was 2,500 lines of code, so might as well not forget about it. There was a lot done in this sprint that was basically not completely, how would I put it, delicately planned. Anyways, let's go on to the next.
I think it's a natural situation when you know that you can accomplishing, bring things together. You like came up with many like unplanned stuff. So
yeah, there's going to be bugs, errors, stuff like that. But you know, if we find it now, that means the testing phase will have less found, I guess. It's good that, I mean, we have to find it at some point. Okay, so what's left? Yeah, I mean, we haven't touched much here. There are 2 items that are now in progress that before were not. They were pretty much on the previous slide, and that's the deal with situation where fees or identity are higher than balance. That's pretty much written now in Identity v2, but until Identity v2 is merged in or in review, we're putting that in progress. Also, the sum tree feature in basically that's the same thing as the credit balance verification. You know, the sum trees have all been added. We just need to verify that the whole system works. So it's not yet done. What else do we have on this page? So we have the accomplish and test withdrawals. That's one of the last items when DPP is merged in. State sync is actually, as I said before, after the testing phase. At some point, we'll do that. So verify fee processing costs. That's, I mean, when is that? it's actually the value of the processing cost to make sure that we're not charging too little, right? So
Yeah,
you
I
know,
guess it's more like to double check all the numbers. The fees.
yeah, it's to make sure that we don't there's no like attack vector, like we're charging way too little for an operation or something like that. And I don't know why we still have BLS library Rust binding here. I kind of remember that it was done, no? Keep on leaving it here.
We already used it. I think it's just the PR isn't merged yet. Something
We
like
should really write in progress. I think we
I
said the
mean,
same weeks ago.
it's in progress. Yeah. So it's just like few tests must be added, and we don't do it now because it's not urgent at this point.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, we've talked about all this last sprint. Okay, biggest thing that the most people in the team worked on, Rust port update. Anton?
Sure. So we continued working on porting the rest of the state transitions as it was before. We finally finished everything that's error related. There are still a couple of protocol errors left, but that's mostly done as well. Right now, we also merged the document transitions last week. I mean, not last week. We actually merging this right now, and also we are working on the final facades for the library right now and the last integration tests. So what's left before we actually start integrating with the rest of the system? Basically, we can start integrating the data contracts right now. It's just that the people are still finishing some of the integration tests that we had before. And we're going to start this sprint integration with the rest of the system. And once we've done that, that actually would mark the finish of the this Rust TPP port effort. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Okay. Yeah, so there is one thing that I had forgotten to mention. This is actually going to be the last development update like this, because in 2 weeks from now, there is another team that joins us. I'm not even sure everybody here knows this. The core team will be joining us. So we will have platform and core in the future, which will be
unbelievable.
Yay!
Unbelievable, wonderful. Yeah, so were there any questions? I cannot, well, actually I can.
Yeah, we
There
got
are some
several
questions to core.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll answer.
Why this core 18.2 was recalled? So we had a blog post about it, but maybe you can share that thoughts again.
No, our blog post was not on 18.2. It was on 18.11. So we recalled 18.2 because there was a basically something that would cause a fork inside of it. You know, when we release minor versions, we always make sure we try our best to not have forks happen. But in this case, something was overlooked and it just forked. Thankfully, not that many people had upgraded yet. So we only had about 115 nodes that that forked off, which is a small amount. V19 is in beta right now, and we still have a few features for V19. To get V18.2 out, we would need a hard fork. And because of that, there's no point in making a hard fork and then V19 hard fork in a few weeks. So we're just going to put what's in V18.2 into V19, and that will be within a few weeks. It will be released.
So basically, there won't be another version of V18. V18. Yeah, right.
No, there won't be another version of V18.
Okay.
V19 is
the next question, and will multiply doc, insert, and multi-query be added to SDK tutorials?
Yes, it will be added to the SDK tutorials at some point in the future. I had a previous, boss, maybe 10 years ago, he used to say, at the appropriate junction in time. Basically, we're like kind of at capacity, and it's hard to, when these features are not yet even merged in, it's hard to, also explain them to documentation team. So it will be done, but it takes some time.
So when Evo?
When Evo? So we need we still have.
We all need to know the answer.
we still have a lot of work. We still have a lot of work. It's like we're talking in weeks now instead of months for the testing phase. I can see our team working very, very hard towards it. So, as the list goes down and down and down, it will be soon. It will be very soon. Can't wait though. Yes.
All right. So I think we're done with the questions. So if you guys have anything to add, just jot to the chat. But I think there won't be any questions. Well, all right, guys. If you have not anything to add, I think we're done. Soon trademark. Hi, Hill.
Yep.
All right.
We can make fun of ourselves.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching, and please share your thoughts here or on Discord, Twitter, Reddit. We're happy to answer your questions and comments every time. And see you in 2 weeks. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.